it. All right, guys, this week we're going to be tagging along with Andy Bledsoe. He's been with BuckVentures since 2003, our oldest pro staff, and I don't mean that for him to be old, but one thing Andy can do, he can kill big bucks. He's got the state record typical buck that he shot in Tennessee a few years back, and this week, as we're going in academy right here to get us some stuff to go bow fishing, he's going after another good buck. Let's tag along with him. Well, Andy Bledsoe, what can I say about Andy? Andy was the first pro staff back in probably 2003, 2004. Hunted with me in Fairview, Oklahoma. Never forget that. He just come in. We became friends immediately.
Andy's become, without a doubt, single-handedly one of my dearest and greatest friends. If you've ever had the opportunity to be around Andy for 10, 15 minutes, you'll know what kind of an individual he is, and it speaks loudly of his dad and the job he was able to do raising him and the man he's become. And I'm honored to say he's a brother.
Someone that actually has helped me establish a better relationship with Christ over the years, and someone that I cherish in my walk through this life, and someone that's a great hunter. You know, I'll never forget Andy in Illinois, one of the biggest encounters we ever had. It was incredible. A freak nasty deer that he had at 12 yards. You know, one thing that you might need to know about Andy is something that we're all jealous over, is Andy was fortunate enough a few years back to hunt a state record type deer.
It's Saturday, November the 14th. We're in Tennessee on a little farm that I was able to get permission from to bow hunt. We were in here yesterday afternoon. We're hunting a deer called crook. I think he's using out this ridge about 20 yards. I've got 2 scrapes. I started off with a mock scrape, and about a week and a half after I made my mock scrape, a giant deer that's probably gonna be pushing 170 showed up and started using it and made a scrape beside it. He was here night before last, and I didn't check the camera this morning, so I'm just hoping this is our first good frost that we've had, and there's a doe bedding area right, I mean, we're all in it, so I'm hoping they're gonna cruise right through this ridge here and we get a shot at it. About 20 yards. I've got 2 scrapes. I started off with a mock scrape, and about a week and a half after I made my mock scrape, a giant deer that's probably gonna be pushing 170 showed up and started using it and made a scrape beside it.
You know, Andy knew he had this great deer, didn't know exactly what he scored, but he did know he was big, and wasn't hunting a big tract of land at all. Actually, I think it was under 40 acres, maybe even 20 acres. And him and his dad climb up in a set one morning.
It's almost 9 o'clock, and I've got to get out and take my son to a couple different birthday parties this morning, so I'm beginning to think it might be snake bit. Anyway, we're just gonna climb down, pack up, get out of here, so I'm not late and in trouble.
It was actually a deal where the deer's coming and they're having to get back in the stand to be able to get a shot off at this big deer.
What just happened? He's still standing right there. You see him? Dude, I'm hunting in Tennessee. That's the biggest deer I ever killed in my life. I really think that deer's gonna go in the 60s, and I just shot him with my bear bow and my dad on my shoulder.
You know, after they shot him, you know, nerves set in, didn't know exactly for sure the way this deer ran off, and they filmed him a little bit over there, and it's incredible what Tennessee, you know, brought that day. I mean, here is a deer, a place that you don't think of a deer like this.
We shot, you know, probably one of the biggest deer of my life this morning. But the way he acted, you know, when he was in stride, I shot, it was back just a little bit, so I thought maybe I got liver. We watched him actually lay down and then get back up, lay down and get back up. So we come back in here this afternoon. He's been, you know, we've given him 6 or 7 hours. You know, the old adage, when in doubt, back out. We backed out, we snuck out. So now let's go see if we can, we find him. Here's one of his beds that he had. You can see him just over this rise. He is bigger than I thought. I have never had my hands on a deer of this caliber. That was mine. With God's blessing and really nothing else. This is a boon deer in Tennessee.
Nobody, and I mean nobody else, deserves that more than Andy does. I mean, he absolutely loves the great outdoors, and he loves deer hunting.
And this deer ended up being a state record typical, and as far as I know, still is to this day.
Says it all right there.
That's it, buddy.
What did you want to hear?
177.
177 2/8.
Net. Net.
And nets 184 and 4/8.
He's got a deer here that's one side 7, one side 6, so a total of 13 points. He's got a gross score of 184 and 4/8. with a final score of 177 and 2/8 was the official record for Tennessee Large.
To watch him put the time in and to be able to be rewarded like this and be so humble, it's still hard to believe that he holds the typical state record in Tennessee, but what an absolute beautiful deer, and without a doubt could not happen to anybody else better than Andy Bledsoe.
You know, the one thing about Andy, every year it seems like early season he is all over. He's hunting, you know, land that he doesn't lease really. It's just permission and this and that, and he's all over. And it's always early season. He's on a good buck.
It's the middle of the day, and our plans are to take the tractor in there to cover our scent and our sound with the natural, something natural to the deer. There's not a lot of activity, not cattle on this farm, so we have to use kind of what is natural to them, and that's this tractor. I'm going to load the stands and the sticks and everything. I'm going to put it in the bucket of the tractor. We're going to drive it to this oak flat and hang a stand for a north wind. Saturday afternoon we're coming in here to hunt, and we have to have a north wind stand, and I don't have it. I'm set up for a south. And Saturday afternoon is probably the only time I'm going to be able to be in here, so for a little while anyway.
So when we talk about Andy, we know that Andy and his dad are going to go, they're probably going to get on a buck. And, you know, it's the other special aspect of it is, you know, it's Andy and his dad, and it's pretty much always been that way. His dad really doesn't like to hunt a whole lot, but he loves to be with his son filming. And there's a special lesson in that for all of us, just that time out in the great outdoors. And this was no exception. They were heading out, and they were going to go see if they couldn't do what they always do and take that bear archery bow and go get on a big whitetail.
All right, I am getting ready. I just got in the truck, headed down to Pulaski. I'm gonna pick Dad up. We're gonna get ready and we're gonna head over to the farm. I've got pictures of a big, wide 8-point. He's a stud of a deer in a big frame, and he's gonna look really good on film. That is our target buck. That's who we're going after, and hopefully he's gonna be there this morning. What made this hunt successful was a couple different things. I've got a little bit of history with this little oak flat, so knowing the years past, how things kind of happen and what's in the area always helps. Running the covert cameras through the summer and early fall to know what's here, and then entrance and exit of this place. I would come in here a couple weeks ago, probably a month ago, and cut me a trail straight to the tree. We got lucky this morning. We walked in, climbed up in the set, and things just kind of happened the way they're supposed to. The good Lord shined down on us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, Lord. It sounded good. Oh, dude, that Hellraiser, eat him alive. He was my 27 yards. I settled in on right behind his shoulder. And it blew through him. It blew completely through him, and it's buried up in this tree. Let's go put our hands on him. It's a beautiful, beautiful early season Tennessee deer. And once again, I had my dad over my shoulder. And I really am speechless. It's always good to kill a good deer with your bow. Great footage with dad over my shoulder. I'm pretty excited.
Well, hats off to Andy for another unbelievable time with his dad.
I'm super envious of Andy. Is not only did he kill the state record, typical in the state of Tennessee, which was a giant, but he has the opportunity to go out and experience the great outdoors every time he goes out with his dad. And I mean, what greater blessing can you get?
Again, it's not the state record, but that wasn't what it's about. Even the year that he shot the state record, that wasn't what it was about. It was about being out there in God's great outdoors. And we keep preaching this, I know, but it was, and it's about being with his dad. Now, I'll be the first to tell you, I love hunting a big deer. I love that. That's what I want to do. That's the part that I love. I want to spend time with my girls on whatever deer they want to shoot. I want to spend time with my dad with whatever deer he wants to shoot. I want to be in camp with, guys that like to hunt big deer, guys that just want to shoot deer. I don't care. Personally, right now where I'm at, I want to find a big deer and go after him depending on where I'm at, but that's what I love, and that's what Andy is. If a big deer's there, he's definitely gonna go put his best foot forward to go shoot that deer. But if not, he's gonna find a deer, a mature buck, and go shoot it. And that's what they did in this episode, and it's a deal, another chalk mark there, probably more in your mind and more than that in your heart, him and his dad, that they got to spend together out there in God's great outdoors. Hey guys, welcome to this week's Walk by Faith, and today I just want to get real with you on a topic of salvation. Maybe you're out there and you're wondering, what is this about being saved? Or maybe you even repeated some words and you're wondering, am I going to heaven? And let me tell you what the Bible says about it, and then let's talk about it. The Bible says in Romans 10:9, it says, if you confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord, and then you believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you shall be saved. Now let's be very clear. This isn't me repeating something. It's not just words. This is me confessing with my mouth, because way back in the day, if you confess with your mouth, you could be killed. And then your heart changes. It's a two-part thing. So it's the old man dying and the new man coming alive. It's being born again. And it's basically just saying, God, I'm a sinner. Come into my life, change my life. And it's a new walk. It doesn't make you perfect overnight, but it gives you a heavenly home. Guys, I'm Jeff Danker. If you have any questions, you email us. Find a Christian and talk to them. It'll be the most important decision that you ever make. I'm Jeff Danker, and remember, as we always say, shoot by sight, walk by faith.